Boys Club is over. Eshawn, we had a good run, baby. Ain't no more. She's back, ladies and gentlemen. Rhodesia is back from her sabbatical. Looking pretty as ever. Look at you. You here ready to rock and roll? Have you even watched any wrestling in the last week or so? Do you even know what's going on? Do you even know Jade is signed to WWE at this point?
So I had this whole diatribe of my intro that I was going to say coming back. And since I've been gone, The Rock has returned. We noticed that all members of the Shield is the top 3 wrestlers of the year. The WWE releases went beyond just corporate, and we had talent releases in which Aaliyah was released, and an insider for Matt and I didn't think she ever was going to be released. And then after listening,
Rhodesia said that Aaliyah has some dirt on Vince, and that's why she's been there every year. But
she always,
ironically, as soon as Vince is out of here, now Aaliyah's out of here. So you may be on to something with that.
Yep, I'm telling you. And then listening to episode 68, and what happened here? Eshawn done turned into a Jericho guy. I'm like, what in the world is happening since I've been gone?
He appreciates him now.
But I'm super overwhelmed right now. It's been about 2 weeks since I really watched wrestling, so completely kind of out of the loop. But I'm here for it. I'm so excited to be back, and I'm so happy to be here with y'all.
But we missed you. We missed having that female voice when it was time to talk women stuff instead of us just talking like OnlyFans and all that kind of stuff. Now we got you back. We got you back in the saddle. Eshawn, this is episode 69, man. We've done 68 of these things so far. Get through 69. I know 69 is your favorite number. What's up? Give me something. Give me something good.
Kind of set me up with that one because, I got to keep it PG. I don't think the kids are in the bed just yet. So it ain't 69 over here. Not yet.
68 and a half.
But hey, well, welcome back, though, Rhodesia.
Thank you.
Hey, we got a lot to talk about. I'm excited to talk to you about all this fun and wrestling news. Let's get into it, guys.
If you guys don't know who we are, the Terrible Trio, it is myself, Matt, joined by my co-host, Rhodesia, Eshawn. We got to start off top with, of course, Jade. We talked about Jade last week when we knew it was happening. It is now official. I made a comment on that podcast. We had a really good discussion. If you haven't heard it, go back to, I think it was 67 episode.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked about how I felt like it was a seismic shift with Jade going to WWE, the same way it was when Big Show went and Mark Henry went, et cetera, et cetera. And I'll be damned if WWE is not treating it as such. Tuesday, they announced she had signed officially. They put a tweet out, and that tweet was per ESPN, and nothing on the timeline from WWE, it seemed like, was all just Jade. It was Jade all day, every day. She's already out here doing interviews, talking about being in WWE. They got the full court press on. I look at that a couple different ways. I look at it as one, hey, this is the first signing under TKO, so they want to make it a big deal. They also want to show, hey, if you come to WWE and you're a big star, this is what we can do for you. We can roll out the red carpet. Second thing I thought of is this is a direct message to anybody in AEW where their contract is up. There's a lot of contracts up in 2024. If you guys don't know, both ways, WWE and AEW. And this is, hey, if you are worth your weight in gold, you can have something similar. So now that it's official, Rhodesia, of course, we'll start with you. You didn't get a chance to speak on it at all with us and to us about your thoughts on Jade coming to WWE. What's your thoughts on kind of what you've seen on social media and how they've treated her so far? And then, and I also want to get your thoughts on this too, E. In one of her interviews, she said that Cody Rhodes was a really big part of her signing with WWE. She went so far as to say that Cody Rhodes was a top 3 person or a top 3 reason, and he wasn't number 3. I think that speaks volumes. So, Rhodesia, floor is yours. Just tell us about your thoughts about Jade going to WWE, and then E, of course, you being the Cody guy. I want to hear your thoughts on him being, it sounds like, pretty instrumental in maybe giving her that push to, hey, you need to come here.
So Jade is going to absolutely be catapulted to that top tier A+ player at WWE. Coming from AEW, I know on episode 67, you had mentioned something, and I'm not going to get it right, but something along the lines of, do we feel that AEW kind of wasted her? And that's not exactly what you said, but kind of along the sentiment, like, did we take advantage, or did AEW take advantage of Jade as much as they should have or could have?
Yeah, was she maximized?
And to me, I do. I feel in the eyes of AEW, they absolutely maximized Jade. You get somebody who had the Goldberg treatment of being 50 plus and 0, holding a whole championship to herself. She was dominant. There was nothing about her that was not dominant. So in the eyes of AEW, I think they did a good job maximizing her there. On the Jade side of things, it didn't really develop her, past being able to be in front of the screen and even having a couple of talking speeches. Other than that, she didn't really learn a lot of the wrestling in ring in front of people. So I think on Jade's side, it didn't maximize her time at AEW, but definitely on AEW side. Again, now coming over to WWE, I am just a tiny bit nervous that there's so much, like you mentioned, the full court press. There is so much energy backing her, as it should be. She looks like a $1 billion. I just really hope that she gets what she needs before she gets pushed that far and pushed that high, because that's going to come with a lot of pressure. So I just really hope that she fully takes into it, and everything we've seen on her, even just how disciplined she is with her body, she's going to give it her all. I just don't want her to not live up to her potential. And I believe her potential is so super bright. You talk about faces of WWE, and we always talk about men and men and men. Jade could absolutely be a person who could be the face of WWE. And, she transcends the gender role. So completely happy that she's there. I'm happy that she had her little moment, because I don't think I was here to talk about it, with her in Statlander and the hug. That was so emotional. I mark out for those kind of things, because again, we know this is all passion. So for them to be able to do that in the ring, and I'm talking about her last match on AEW, the videos that we saw on the internet. As far as what social media is talking about, I've been off of social media for 2 weeks. Now, I might have went in for a couple seconds and hit a like or a love or something, but I have no idea what's going on the outside world.
Well, E, I know you've seen it. I'm sure you've been on social media over the last 24 hours since they've officially announced it. So kind of just tell me your thoughts on how much stock they're putting into this signing, and then the Cody Rhodes piece on just how instrumental he is. And you said it on the last pod that, hey, you want Pretty Ricky. I think he's good as gone. She even made a comment in one of her interviews that she did that like Ricky Starks is like one of her best friends. I was like, oh, Ricky's out of here. Damn, Ricky. Like, they might as well squash him and bury him for the next year. I don't know how long his contract's up, but throw him through the mud, because that boy's out of here.
Yeah. I actually didn't see all the Jay interviews. I saw like a little clip of her talking about her going to WWE. And it made a lot of sense, because we talked about, I believe on Ryan's show, we talked about MJF, right? Should he go to WWE? And I told you guys, I said, yeah, because I don't think that MJF can be the star that he can destined to be in AEW.
Mm-hmm.
I think that going to WWE would put a whole new set of eyes, a global set of eyes on him. And Jay pretty much said the same thing in a little clip that I saw. She said she felt like she couldn't reach her full potential. She couldn't reach her full maximum level in AEW. She had to get to the big show. I'm paraphrasing. She didn't say this specifically, but she said,
"You all right.
She said that already."
She said she couldn't reach her top level in AEW. She had to go to the big show to reach her full potential in the ring and out of the ring. She said she had the Bryan Daniels or whatever. Right, and
she called him Daniel Bryan too, which I thought was hilarious. I was like, she's even calling him by his WWE gimmick name.
I'm like, it's like, it seems kind of weird, right? It sounds like she's trying to be respectful of AEW, because they did put her on the map. They did put her name out there in the rest of the community, but she's acknowledging like, yo, I think she even said in one interview, this is where she's destined to be.
Yep.
Like, right. So, and I truly believe that. I truly believe that in order for her to be the star that she needs to be, she needs to go to the WWE, right? Because you think about all the guys that came to AEW, they have some homegrown talent, but the big guys like a John Moxley, Chris Jericho, even Malachi Black, Rusev, all these guys made their name in WWE first, and then got to AEW. I think that potentially, Jade's still young. If she wanted to come back to AEW at some point for whatever reason, she can come back and be an even bigger star. So I think she's right. I think this is the right move for her. She even mentioned going down to the PC so she can improve her ring work. And that's going to be phenomenal for her. So she can go, she can learn her craft every day with trainers like a Norman Smiley. Is a lot of the women really talk about Norman Smiley, what he's done for their careers.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to get that from her. And then I didn't hear the Cody thing, but I believe it. I told you guys on another podcast. I think that one of more so than CM Punk, I think that Cody leaving backstage really hurt some of the overall morale. I think they lost some of the leadership when Cody left there. He was really tight.
Yeah.
She said that she misses him, or she missed him because he was somebody that she could go to with questions, with ideas,
and like no judgment.
He would always help her. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that speaks to some of the missing leadership, which when you and I get, like, you create relationships, you create personal relationships in any job that you go to, but then there's 3 other EVPs there. Now, maybe she was just really comfortable with Cody. I mean, if we think about it, that was her introduction to AEW, was her and Shaq against Brandy and Cody. So, I'm sure they have that link, just like Mark Henry has that link to her. But when she said that, I was kind of like, okay, it was just real interesting. When you get a chance to just find some of her interviews, just listen to them, because she never, from any interview I saw, I'm not trying to start shit, but she never once thanked Tony Khan. She never put Tony Khan over as like a caring boss, which we know he is. But like when I'm listening to her, I'm just like, if you read between the lines, one, I think she knew, like, okay, not that I'm being wasted, but I think she kind of felt a little bit like I'm being wasted, to your point about I'm not taking on these top women. She's never had a program with Britt. She never had a program with Thunder Rosa. She never had a program with, any of them, anybody who was in the world title picture. I think that bothered her a little bit. And when you just listen to her talk, a lot of what she was saying, you can just tell, like, WWE is the opposite of what I'm used to. She made a comment about the PC and how it's state of the art. And she said, because they asked her, like, hey, are you more excited about the state of art weight room, or are you more excited about, like, the rings where you can, like, jump and do flips and this, the cushy stuff? And she's like, absolutely the ring. She's like, I'll say this, I'm not hurting like I usually am when I'm training.
Yeah, she said my back doesn't hurt anymore.
And it's like, well, we know AEW doesn't have a true legit training facility, but I think this speaks to, and yes, we know they've only been around for 4 years. I'm not acting like they need to have the exact same amount of resources that the WWE has. But right. What I will say is, you started talking about everybody that is in AEW that's come from WWE. There are some people that have made their own name and stars that have happened in AEW. Most notably, Orange Cassidy. He was only known on the indies. He's a star. MJF for sure. Absolutely.
MJF, Young Bucks, Cody.
But see, I would argue and say Cody made his name in WWE and New Japan and ROH. Young Bucks made their name in New Japan and ROH. I'm saying,
true,
guys,
you mean
strictly on the indies, right?
Got you.
Yeah, and Jade, but like other than that, it's not many. And then you start thinking about, okay, how many times have they cooled people off? Warlow. And just we can go down the line. Even right now, Orange Cassidy right now. Yes, I think Orange Cassidy is in a tag match with Hook right at WrestleDream, if I'm not mistaken. Which is fun. Okay, cool. It'd be a good match. But we talked about when he dropped his belt, we're like, the run he had, man, his trajectory should be maybe the heavyweight title next. And now he is not even fighting really for a title and kind of dropped a little bit. And I guess so my point of saying all that is, if a wrestler can see the start and stop pushes that they're going through right now in AEW, they see what WWE has done for Jade with the red carpet treatment. She's not going to be the only one. I do think, I think, like I said, I think Starks is out of here. And then today I started really thinking, like, if they don't have MJF locked up yet, I know MJF swears up and down he was not putting pen to paper until January. That's when his contract is up. How does MJF not look at this and say, whew, I know I'm better than Jade on the mic, in the ring right now. If they did this for Jade, and she's going to be an incredible talent, can you imagine what it looks like if for MJF, after having the belt for whatever he's going to have it for, 8-9 months, I don't know where his run is at right now. I think that's just something that like Tony's got to think about. And yeah, they just released 20 people, and a great trade can be Ed shows up Sunday at WrestleDream. So then the optics look like, all right, well, Jade went to WWE, Edge went to AEW. We know Mercedes is still coming in. Cool, right? But I just think that, man, I think we're going to be in for some exciting times in 2024.
Like, but you know what? To be honest, then, you know, wrestling is the WWE. Let's just say what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Wrestling is the WWE around the world. We associate wrestling with WWE. You think these wrestlers don't think that? Even back when WCW was hot.
Yeah.
WWF was the place that people wanted to go. If you are a wrestler, you aspire to go there. Just as like every fan started there, right? And I know we're looking at what's going on with Jay, but I think it started with Cody. I think when Cody got there and he kept his character, they gave him the push, they made him a big deal. I think that opened a lot of eyes to a lot of people in that company to see how they're going to be treated when they get there too. And now going back to the Cody thing that you asked me about, you know, he's a leader, right? He has a presence about himself. He made a lot of positive relationships. And, you know, you mentioned the Young Bucks and Kenny didn't mention those guys. Everybody in a leadership role isn't a leader. Right? Some people just have that presence about themselves to where they can lead a room, right? Just because you're put in a position doesn't mean that maybe that's your skill set. Cody is obviously somebody who can get people to come to him. He has a high charisma. He's been around for a long time. He's very experienced. He knows what it takes to get to the top. He's proven that, right? Ricky Starks is a Cody guy. Wasn't Ricky Starks at one of the shows? Like as one of the
guests? Yep, exactly. Yep.
Right? Mm-hmm. So Cody has a lot of ties to these guys. He's having conversations with these guys. You know, MJF was in an interview and said, hey, a lot of us are friends. We talk to each other all the time, right? These guys are already putting this thought in their head. And I think it's huge to go back to Jade that the first signing of TKO was Jade Cargill.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Black woman. And they rolled out the red carpet for this woman. And I think, I know there's a small group, you know, we were talking about in a disc. We saw what happened with Mercedes, but we see also happened with Bianca, right? We see, you know, Bobby get treated with respect. So I think times is definitely changing. And for them to put her out there like that, I think this is saying something.
And Jade is
all this.
And Jade is undeniable.
Right here, though.
Which part?
Shouldn't this quiet, seeing how they've treated her already, day one, quiet anybody who still has a feeling of black people can't make it in WWE or they don't get there? I mean, I think that would, to me personally, yes, there's still room in everything. There's still room to grow. But to me, that went out the window when we saw how Bianca was treated, the level that the Profits got to, the New Day. I mean, we can go on and on, right? Like what we've seen over the last couple of years. They've made significant and huge strides. Yeah, Titus O'Neil is another one. When he wasn't slipping and falling, going through the ring at the Greatest Royal Rumble, he was good, right?
That was one of my favorite moments. That's one of my favorite wrestling moments.
Yes.
Oh my God. Sorry, Chise. I laughed at you so many times.
Because he didn't hurt himself.
Brought joy to my life.
It's so funny because he didn't hurt himself. Now, if he tore like his Achilles or his ACL, I probably would have still laughed today. I wouldn't have laughed then.
I still be laughing about it. He'd be all right? He would have healed by now.
But the issue was they were saying like he was like a half an inch from hitting the beam under the ring. He probably would have killed himself. But man, like Michael Cole was, he couldn't stop laughing. Oh my God!
I'm laughing to think about it. Oh my God!
I can't laugh.
Man.
Stop. No laughing on this episode. Okay, just straight face.
But yeah, no. So I think it's a fantastic deal. I really do. It's funny also just to see the people who are fans of promotions and not the wrestlers. She couldn't have sucked. She couldn't have sucked yesterday, and she's incredible now. She couldn't have been incredible yesterday, and she sucks today. That can't be a thing, guys. Like. Come on, figure it out.
Hey, let
Figure
me say one last thing about with Jade, and Tony and AEW.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so one of the great things about Jade is that she looks like a star, right? And she knows how to conduct the interview.
Mm-hmm.
This is about her in the future in WWE. So a lot of her compliments are going to be WWE centric, or they should be, especially on a day like today and her being the first signing. Like, I think that she's playing the game quite nicely as far as, all right, I'm here to talk about the company that I'm in right now. Like, right. So I'm thinking the people that are there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I would necessarily will put a lot of shine on my former company. I think she said just enough. And if she wants to send out a tweet later on and thank Tony, I think that would be great. Because at the end of the day, I think the biggest problem with AEW is they're creative. And I think like a Dolph Ziggler, if he goes there, chooses to go there, I think he's very creative. Like Chris Jericho is very creative. They can come up with things of their own and suggestions that can potentially get themselves a push, right? Now, a person like Jay, I'm not sure her creative mind, right? Because she's young in the business. I don't know how many ideas that she had and pitches that she had to kind of create her own storylines, because that's what it really takes in AEW. It's not necessarily that I think that Tony ignores talent. WWE has a team, a writing team that people specifically write storylines and pitches for the Triple H and etc. Right? There's a team of people that are constantly creating and presenting storylines for these guys. Now, we may not see a lot of them, right? They may not all go through, but there's a team that's designed to kind of create stories for these people. AEW doesn't have that. It's one guy and a few other people that are kind of making stories for all these other situations and people.
Well, and it goes back to, and nothing is absolute, right? There are no 100% in anything in the world. So don't take from what I'm about to say as 100%, but it's by far the vast majority. To me, this goes back to WWE knows how to make stars.
Bingo.
And AEW is about the in-ring work and putting together these dream matchups for the fans.
Mm-hmm.
Completely stark different philosophies on how to get from point A to point B. There is no just perfect elixir to get you to how to, get fans invested and how to get people to watch and how to get people to buy tickets. But I think what we are seeing this week with Jade, what we've seen with Cody, what we've seen with Roman, is that stars can carry your promotion. And we see it a little bit with AEW too. But if there's anything that I would want them to kind of look at and take care of, and they're doing some really good things. I think they're starting to get some momentum back. And with WrestleDream being a Sunday, if we do get a massive return or, a debut like an Edge or like a Mercedes, that's going to only help. But let's start growing our own. Let's start making our massive stars. They have stars. Britt is a star. They have stars. We don't have to break them down. You guys know what I mean.
I go back to the pillars. I feel that a huge ball was dropped with the pillars.
Darby. He's another
you
one.
You had the 4, and then you add 5 for Dr. Britt Baker in there. That should have been your superstars. Those should have been your heavy hitters that's going to skyrocket this company. Again, you're not going to be WWE for another 20 years, but that was supposed to be that. And then something happened, and I don't know if it was because of the MJF thing and that kind of fell through. My point is, we should have gotten that with the pillars.
Hey, another conversation for another day, but those pillars is cracking.
Yeah.
Those pillars is cracking.
There's no base.
Yep.
All right, we can move on after this. I want to ask you guys about NXT. If you guys even want to look at the card, because maybe she shows up this Saturday on No Mercy. But WWE is where you become a star. AEW is where you go to get creative freedom. I think that is probably the best way to right now talk about the two promotions. Mm-hmm. You see, Jericho was having the time of his life. He's tired. He was tired of that WWE machine, right? Where like it takes me hours to go talk to Vince, or I'm in a storyline that I know is not working and I don't have much say so because a writer is telling me what I need to say. And yeah, I'm Chris Jericho, so I got a little bit of wiggle room, but I still got to do what this is. Opposed to AEW, not that he can just do whatever he wants to. He's not on the creative team, but his word, as it should, he's been in the business for 30 plus years. has a lot of weight. So if he says, hey, I think this is a good idea, maybe Tony listens to him a little bit more than what the WWE machine does. With Edge, he is going to be a pig and slop in AEW on his run because he knows the business like the back of his hand. So imagine what him and Christians be able to do and whoever he works with. Dolph Ziggler, to your point, imagine like the programs that he can come up in his mind and really creatively start fulfilling what he has not had in over a decade plus in WWE. Yeah. So they both have their reasons.
Because he's a comedian too. He's a comedian, so he has to be very creative.
Yeah. So I like where they both are. You just look at this, you just see where there's differences. Just what will we see this week with Jade?
I'll go one step further on that real quick, Matt. Yeah, you mentioned you say you get that creative freedom in AEW. I can also see somebody coming up because there's different trajectories when it comes to being a wrestler, get into the independent business and trying to go to the big leagues. You could even start at AEW. Then when you hit your prime, go to WWE and then finish off your career back at AEW. So where you were saying, hey, you could have been in WWE and then come to AEW afterwards, you could also even start in AEW. Now, again, are you going to get the same development that you're going to get over in WWE? Hell no. Not by a long shot. But you look at people like here in the Chicago area, there's a lot of independent wrestlers. I'm seeing them working with AEW. They're not working. It's like Evolve doesn't exist anymore, where that they were working with WWE, because ever since they got the Performance Center, that's been their pickings of wrestlers. So I can see people going to AEW, kind of get hot, your Sky Blues, people like that. You know, Dante Martin, is that his name? That's his name. He's still hurt though. Hopefully he recovers fast. But you got those people. I can see them starting helly strong in AEW when their contract is up. I.e. Jade. Come on over to WWE, stay there, blow up, make a lot of money. And then when you feel like, hey, I don't want to let go of this wrestling thing, but I can't, commit to what's going on over here as far as WWE, go ahead, go to AEW.
And there's goals too, right? Like, what is your goal? I'm sure Jade wants to be a household name
worldwide,
everywhere. I think she wants, you know what I'm saying? Like, whatever. I think Jade would be good if I got to work 7 days a week, 16 hours a day, everywhere. Hollywood, shooting commercials. I want to do it. There's some people who's like, you know what? No, I want to work the 1 or 2 days a week, put on banger of matches, be able to have creative freedom because all I care about is wrestling. And AEW is just good for me because the money's going to be there, right? Like, I don't think there's going to be anybody from an AEW perspective that is going to walk from AEW because they weren't getting paid enough. We've already heard the stories. I mean, hell, once again, Edge, they said that there was allegedly a contract for WWE and they didn't meet his demand. I think with Triple H and Nick Khan and this team, they're probably really looking at ROI, return on investment. Okay, if we pay this person this much, are we going to get this back? And I don't think Tony's like that. I think Tony's like, absolutely come onto the roster. I can use you. We can make awesome dream matches for the fans. Let's do it. And he's going to make enough money. So, like, the money aspect, I don't think will be a problem. But I think it's goals. Whatever your goal is, probably kind of points to where you want to be at. So, this weekend, is there any chance we see Jade show up at No Mercy?
I hope so. That's my dream scenario. I told you before on the pod a couple days ago that I would love for Jade to show up and squash Becky for the NXT Women's Championship. Work there for maybe 6 months at least, just so she can be in the PC, getting her reps. And cause here's the thing, just like Becky is popping up on, Raw, etc. Jade can pop up on Raw or SmackDown with the championship. Cut a promo, do a video package, whatever the case may be. Like, what I would do with her, I would have her be a presence, like, right on those shows, and they can even go as far as doing something like like as a bidding war for Raw versus SmackDown, like for who's going to get Jade, right? And Jade's just taking her time, making her decision. She was like, no, I'm killing it down here in NXT. I'm going to be the championship. She just kind of shows up and almost kind of like oh man, what was the wrestler? I think it might have been, was it Macho Man back in the day where he showed up on WWF television and all the managers were kind of like buying for like his services.
I don't remember who it was, but I do remember that. That was a good gimmick too.
Yeah, like that's kind of what it is that she shows up and on Raw and SmackDown they're kind of like just buying for her services. She kind of comes on there and this just shows just gets on the microphone, shows her presence, maybe it's a video package, that kind of thing. But if you want to see her wrestle, you're going to see it on NXT. And I would never have her wrestle all the time on NXT. I'll have her at the takeovers and or big matches at NXT.
Rhodesia, can you pay somebody millions of dollars though? Have this type of rollout of they have signed a multi-year deal with WWE, and then you have them stationed to NXT for 3 to 6 months.
So glad you asked that question in that particular way, because I was writing some things down. To me, when Jade was announced that, or the rumors was happening that she was coming to WWE, in my mind, you had to go to main card to that exact point of you're about to get paid more than likely. You know, we know she's probably getting paid a lot of money, the multi-year contract. You can't put her there in NXT if you're paying her all this money. But just like how you mentioned, Matt, me either last episode or the episode before, I think if we bring her straight to WWE main card, development wise, she's no different than what she was when she was in AEW. She hasn't gotten the reps in that she needed to get in before she's back in the super limelight.
So stop right there though. But to play devil's advocate and remember your thought, she's at the PC now. She's getting her reps in like today. So she doesn't have to be on NXT to be down in the PC. So say if she goes to either Raw or SmackDown, that's 1 day a week. She can still be down at the PC on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Say no matter if she works Monday or Friday. Mm-hmm. Okay, hey, either you work Monday or you work Friday, but you're still at the PC Tuesday through Thursday. Getting those reps in, all that kind of stuff.
That's a good point, because AEW doesn't have that kind of center for people to work on. But I still would want her to be in NXT first. You mentioned a couple episodes ago that, or even last episode, NXT is, we know that this is the developmental. So we're going to give you certain freedoms. We're going to allow you to be corny, cheesy, hooky, hokey, whatever he said. As far as hooky, hokey.
This is episode 69. Where the hookies at?
Yeah.
Shout out to the hookies out there. Just making their money. Making a living.
Seriously. It's almost a recession. Anyways, so you go down there, and I lost my train of thought.
Hopefully everybody who works for the government, you guys are good. That report came out today that they're about to stop government checks. That ain't good. So
if they don't figure it out by
everybody's good out there.
September 30th.
But yeah, okay. So let's go No Mercy. Becky Lynch versus Tiffany Stratton in an Extreme Rules match. Oh my goodness. That means.
But then there you go.
That means interference is legal.
Yep. But but to answer your question, I would want Jade in NXT. 6 months, that might be egregious. Maybe 2 to 3 months, actually in NXT, so that she can see how it is talking on the mic and wrestling during that time too, to build it in front of people, to get that instant reaction. Not while you're in a performance center and somebody say, "Oh, yeah, you did good on that move. Oh, maybe you should do that move different." No, she needs to hear it from the fans. And you're in a isolated environment, being down in Full Sail. I don't know if it's called that anymore, but you're there, so you'll get that live instant reaction. She needs to go down there. She needs to hear that. I think that's going to be huge for her development. But yes, in at No Mercy, Extreme Rules, bring her in.
Okay, E, are you bringing her in that way too during that match?
I say yes.
Okay,
with a splash, because like you think about it, like they signed into a multi-year deal. Like they can play the long game with her.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, right, they can take their turn and make sure they get the optimum return on their investment. Right, let's make sure that she gets the rep, the support that she needs. Let's break any bad habits that she may have had. Right, and then boom, in a couple months, she's ready to go to the main roster and explode. Not just look great, because she's gonna look great. She look great now, right, but wrestle great. So when she gets in the ring with a Rhea Ripley. And hopefully not Nia. Don't give me a Nia Jax. Don't give me a Nia Jax in Jade match. Don't do that.
Leave my girl Nia alone, man.
She called her name out too today. She called her name out too. She said
who did? What happened? Who said that?
Jade mentioned it when they asked when Kaz asked her about the top people that she wants to fight with, and she said, "Hey, give me." She said Nia. She said Rhea. She said Bianca.
She named everybody.
Charlotte.
She said Becky. She named everybody. I mean, yeah.
So
she's a big deal right now.
She's a professional, right? She looks at the roster. She knows who's getting pushed, who's on TV. She wants to work with them all. She's a true pro already. Kudos to you, woman.
Are y'all giving Dragunov any chance of beating Carmelo Hayes for the NXT title this weekend?
I don't like Dragunov.
Who and who? No, I'm joking. I know both of the people. Sorry.
Damn. Who and who? All right, we move on. He said he don't like Dragunov. You know what? Dragunov to me is he can go in the ring. Like I'm not invested in him. I like when he's on, like I wouldn't turn from him.
Yeah.
But
I turn from him, and those little ass boots and no knee pads.
Oh, the no knee pads.
Oh my God. I just you don't do it for me.
So you got Carmelo retaining?
Please.
He has to, I think, right? Doesn't
Please.
he? I mean, I don't think he's being called up. I don't think they've announced yet who Dom is fighting because he was supposed to fight Ali. Braun Breaker versus Baron Corbin. I haven't been like fully watching this feud, but doesn't Braun need like a big win? He can't lose again, can he?
I feel that,
Damn,
and
can
Carmelo.
Corbin lose
Granted,
again?
Carmelo's not losing,
I mean,
but
that's true too.
but Baron's on the end of his career. Come on, like Braun
He's
is
not on the
Braun.
end of his career.
Yes, he is.
In his career,
Yes.
are you trying to kill
No,
him off?
How old do you think he is?
What I'm saying is
You say
he's
he's at the
past
end
his
of his
prime.
career.
I'm saying, okay, when
He's
you look
past
at a
his
mountain,
prime.
listen, look, when you look at the mountain, you look at the mountain or the hill, he's over the hill. So that when we're looking, let me do it
Over the
this way
hill?
so they can look. So we do this. Baron Corbin's like 36. So when you looking like this,
So 36 is over the hill. How old
As
is Roman
far-
Reigns?
he's like 37 or like that, something like that.
Oh God.
What
How
I'm
old is
saying
AJ
is,
Styles?
first off,
Is AJ Styles over
AJ's like 42. But listen, Uncle Al is 42.
No. AJ is 45.
Okay, Uncle Al is 45. Point is, no one
Shout
y'all
out to
don't
the lone wolf
wait.
Baron Corbin. Baron
And don't
Corbin,
sit up
you
here-
are not over the hill.
First off, so you telling me that
Baron
you
Corbin
telling
is-
me
he's actually,
if he-
actually he's 39.
He's not over it. He's not.
so you
He's
telling
39.
me
You said his
you telling
career's
me
over,
his
Rhodesia.
best days are ahead of him? No, that's a
Yes.
legit question. Oh my
Yes.
God.
Yes.
Let's come on. Let's
If
wrap
creative's
this
there for
episode.
him.
Listen.
Anyways.
This is wrestling. These guys, you can have AJ. Look, you have Christian, who's damn near 50,
Yeah. Doing some of the best
and
work of his career right now.
he's the best heel in that company right now. Ain't no stopping.
Finn Balor's 42.
Is he
Damian
old
Priest
now?
is 41.
Yep.
LA Knight is 40.
Yep.
Those are all people that's older than the God, Baron Corbin.
Yeah,
can't
late
believe you said
30s,
he's over
late
the
30s,
I-
early
I'm-
40s.
mark
is
my
wrestler's
words.
prime.
On
Yeah.
episode 2020 of this episode, we're gonna come back and we're gonna say, okay, how is Baron Corbin's career after? And I love Baron Corbin, so that had me looking like I'm a fool here, like I don't like the
Do
guy.
you?
But the best is not in front of him as far as
Oh.
his
It should be
WWE
if the
career.
creative's there. It is.
Yeah.
It's not because of his work.
It's not because of his work. But it's not. But
He's
your
getting
question,
better on the microphone. He's good. He's better on the microphone, now than he
But
was
Baron's
5
always-
years ago.
But I thought Baron was always good on the mic. But
Now I don't like. Have y'all seen his top he wears?
no,
I don't like that. It looks like a fake ass like Roman Reigns shield vest that they used to sell for the kids.
oh god,
I don't like that. Yeah, I don't like
That's
that. He's
hooky,
gotta,
right?
like,
It's really hooky.
he's got to. Yeah, that's
It's
hooky.
hooky.
He's got to figure that out. I don't like that.
But
One
no,
thing I
Braun
forgot to bring
Braun
up-
can't lose anymore. And Carmella, we got to
Mhm.
figure they're in that thin line right now between am I still going to be invested in them, or are you going to have to completely rebuild them again for me? Braun and Carmelo is right there for me.
Well, I think with Melo, I think they got to be doing this Trick Melo gang. That
Mhm.
story's not done yet. Even though I think Trick is about to go after
A
the US
title.
title.
Yeah.
Yeah, North American title, not US. But there's still some meat on that bone. So maybe that's I think he retains.
Hey, Trick is doing some good work, man. Like,
He looks
is
good.
great on the microphone. He has tons of
s-
personality.
I am ready to have a conversation probably in January or February about Trick and Carmelo, and I'll leave it at that right now.
Alrighty.
Another conversation we need to have.
Yeah.
And I wanted to wait till Rhodesia got back on here because we talked about the Soup Profits and Bobby, and we kind of threw out little seeds that I wasn't feeling how the Profits were presenting themselves at times. They act like they don't know if they're coming or going, if they're heels or they're baby faces. They come out and smile, but then they'll cheat, and then they'll throw a little like frown and scowl out there, and then they'll like smile like right after that. Then they act like they scared of Bobby, and then when Bobby gets close and they like dap him up. That's a little funky to me. We saw on SmackDown this past Friday, Bobby got in the ass a little bit and was like, look, if I tell you to jump on Ray, you jump on Ray. Like, if y'all ain't got that killer instinct, I'll find somebody else. So 2-part question for both of you. One, and E, start with you first because you are a massive Montez guy, as we all are. One, do you like where the story's at now? And then 2, do you think this was the original story when they first had their creative meeting about putting Bobby and the Prophets together? Do you think that we were already to get to this point, or do you think they've made some type of switch because maybe they saw that something wasn't working either? Oh, he did again, Rhodesia. The young boy's on mute. I'd be damn, he did it again.
Young boy.
These Macs and these mute buttons, man. I pressed that. I think it's the software. I don't think it's the Mac.
Is that the
Right,
user?
it ain't you, right?
It's not the user.
It's not you.
No. Because I pressed the button and it's supposed to do what it's supposed to do. But I don't know if it's the original plan or not, but outside of the inception of the idea, it hasn't been great. And it's been more the Prophets. More on Tez than Dawkins. Dawkins seems comfortable in the new role, whereas I don't want to say that Tez seems uncomfortable. You know, it kind of reminds me of Naomi when she originally turned heel.
With Team Bad, right? With Trinity. I mean, not Trinity, but with Tamina and Sasha.
Yeah, she wasn't used to playing a character, right? She was more comfortable being herself. And so she had to play the bad girl. She didn't. I think she said in interviews that she didn't feel comfortable being a heel. And I don't know if Montez doesn't feel comfortable or he doesn't know how to do it. Because when I look at the work, like Dawkins is showing out in the ring. I mean, he is moving great. He's doing some great work. I like their finisher. But going back to the point, I don't know what's going on with this storyline. Like, the Street Profits are still coming out there dancing. It doesn't seem like much has changed outside. They got some new gear. They're kind of doing the same thing. They're shucking and jiving out there. They just wear suits with Bobby now. Now, if this is a change, I like the change, right? Because now Bobby's going to demand some aggression from these boys. He's going to demand some intensity from these guys, and maybe that's what they need. To kind of get this thing going, right? Because they're kind of positioning them as heels, because they're always facing the baby faces. They're always facing the good guys. So you would think that they're kind of heels, but they come out smiling. They got the suits. They look great. They're not acting like bad guys. Finally, Bobby is showing has some heelish tendencies. He's getting in that ass, and he's like, "Look, if you guys don't shape up, you got to ship out. I'll get somebody with some grit that can do what needs to be done." I hope it may be we get an MVP reuniting with Bobby to kind of be the mouthpiece for these guys and kind of be that hard edge, evil guy to kind of get them where they need to be.
You see your boy Omos put a beating down on Cody?
Yeah.
I did.
It was Sunday at the live event. What you think about that? You excited
It
for that Omos Cody match?
It hurt my heart in a way because I'm like, okay, that means the MVP is not going to be involved with Bobby and the Prophets, and that means that, damn it, I gotta sit here and suffer through. I'm like, but here's the thing about Omos did have one of the best matches of all time last year with
Seth Rollins. Yep.
Oh
No.
I was gonna say it was. You talking about in Saudi?
Yeah, he had one of the best matches. He might be on a roll. Cody might be able to bring some out of this man.
On a roll.
Yeah. Cody might be able to bring some out of this man to where we get MVP with bars on the mic. We got Omos with being the new 10th wonder of the world, right? I think China was the 9th wonder, right?
She is the 9th because Andre was the 8th.
Yeah. So we got the new 10th wonder of the world, Omos. Right? I think Cody might be the guy that could unlock Omos. Oh my God. Cody does it again, y'all.
If he does that, give Cody everything. You call Roman from vacation and say, hey man, we need you to lay down tonight. I don't care if it's a Saturday and they in Toledo, Ohio at a live event. You call Roman Reigns and said, Cody's the guy, he did the impossible. He got Omos over. We got to put the title on him quickly.
He got the key,
like that.
key. He got.
I heard the phrase of like, you have Swifties is Taylor Swift fans, and for Omos is the Omosis. I think I just made the extra S's in there, but
Yeah, you definitely made that up.
I'm a Omosis.
Yeah, that's not what he said. I don't
Oh
think.
wait,
That's not,
osmosis. There we go.
It is.
Osmosis. I'm an osmosis. Definitely down with the
Close,
Omos crew.
That's still not it.
Okay. Anyways, back to your questions that you asked. So, do I like where the story is at right now? Not yet. And then 2, do I feel that this is the story that was originally planned? I'm gonna say no, because I think something was supposed to happen with Montez, and I feel like he was supposed to be a single star, and something came down. Maybe they wanted to reincarnate the Hurt Business, and they didn't want him to branch off yet, because we had this conversation before. There could only be a couple people at the top anyways. Everyone can't be in the main event spot. So when they decided, and again, I'm thinking that this is the case, when they decided to, nope, let's keep Montez down here, let's not put him in that solos run yet, that's when everything changed. So I don't think that this is what they originally thought. I think that the Hurt Business should have looked a little bit different, or whatever they're doing here. But I'm still engaged, and I'm still ready to see where this goes, because for the little bit of time that I did see on SmackDown, Bobby causing some interference and how he's telling them to cover him. This is kind of what I've been waiting to see. These need to be bad guys. And correct me if I'm wrong, but NXT, were they not, maybe not super heels, but weren't they always had like a heel tendencies in like in their characters?
For a long time.
That's so.
Remember,
this is that they can thrive in that.
I don't know if Tez was though.
I think they might have.
I've been clamoring.
I think they might have.
To be a heel for a long time.
I think they did might have started out
in the beginning.
Heels.
Yep, when they first did.
When they first started. Yep. It's so long ago, I don't remember. I think Rhodesia might be on something though.
And I do think that Montez looked even more awkward than Trinity. I remember what you said, and I do remember thinking like, dang, Trinity, you're not a bad girl. Like you could see it. But I still feel Montez up until this point looks even more uncomfortable, because at least you had Tamina and Sasha Banks with you. Montez looked really, really awkward.
No way he could be a singles guy acting like this.
No way. No way at all.
I go back to when it was him and LA Knight for that match of whoever won would be in the US match or whatever it was, remember? And I was like, he took on the villain role because the crowd was behind LA Knight. I'm like, there you go.
Yep.
And it just hasn't translated.
He might have been legit pissed. He might have been legit pissed.
Right?
Tap into that, please. Tap into that. Bianca's about to lose to Jade. Jade's coming to take your white spot. Tap into that. Tap into that feeling.
Hey, he get to come home to Bianca Belair every night, man. He the happiest man. He ain't no aggressive in him. He is feeling good. He loving life
God
right now.
Every day.
Every day on Twitter. God
every day
is good.
He does. He wakes up.
God is good. So we talked about SmackDown so far. We've talked about NXT so far. We talked about AEW. I got a question for y'all.
Mm-hmm.
So out of the main shows, so out of Raw, out of NXT, Dynamite, I'm just going in order of the SmackDown and Collision. So those 5 shows. Give me your ranking from your favorite shows to watch right now being today, to the worst. And I don't think there's any worse shows on here, but you got to go from top to bottom. What are yours?
Remember, it's about 10 days that I have been removed from wrestling, so don't shoot me here.
Okay, so 10 days ago.
Yeah.
10 days ago, what was your list?
Y'all gonna blow my whole spot up on here. I'm gonna go with Dynamite.
Okay, stop right there.
Okay.
Stop right there. So you going Dynamite as your favorite?
Yes, and I'll tell you why afterwards. Got Dynamite.
What's your favorite right now?
Historically, I would say SmackDown, but with Roman off, and it seemed like they kind of slowed down the entire show, right? I know they're building up LA Knight, and it was interesting that they said that when LA Knight was advertised for that show when he had COVID, they actually offered the fans in attendance like a refund. So they think that a large portion of the audience came to see him. That's big, but it would. So I'm gonna say historically, I'm gonna say SmackDown. It was SmackDown. We doing
okay. Mine's a SmackDown right now, even with Roman being off, because for me, LA Knight took that spot, and then Cena's been back for a few weeks. Hell, we just got Rock and Pat McAfee a week ago, and we wouldn't have got that on any other show. So right now, for me, my favorite is SmackDown. Like if I couldn't miss any show out of those 5, it's like, all right, I gotta watch SmackDown. Okay, so we got SmackDown, and Dynamite. What's your second, Rhodesia?
Raw.
Okay, E, what's yours?
Raw.
Wow. Okay, I have Collision second. I have Collision second. Third, what you got?
SmackDown.
Dynamite or Collision. They're like the same to me right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Collision has fallen that far off of favor with you since Punk has been gone?
It reminds me of Dynamite.
Damn. Okay. My third is Raw. What's your fourth, Rhodesia?
NXT.
Wow. Okay.
So I'm gonna say Collision or Dynamite. They can flop for me. But I will say this though. For the purposes of doing this show,
mm-hmm.
and I try to keep up with the more popular shows, right? So we can talk about them. I think if it was for me though, I think I would watch NXT more, and I think it will replace Dynamite or Collision.
Okay,
whichever show was it.
Do NXT then. Do NXT.
But
then.
But at the same time though, I haven't watched a full show of NXT in months. Right? Where I've seen countless full versions of Dynamite and Collision.
And that's why I have Dynamite 4 for me, and then I have NXT 5. Just for what you said. And I wanted to put NXT much higher because I really, really enjoy a lot of aspects of NXT. But then I find myself, if I watch it on delay, which I watch 90% of it, on DVR, I'm fast forwarding. Something's not catching my attention, my interest, where I don't fast forward through anything on Dynamite. So NXT was 5th for me. So then, Rhodesia, that makes what 5 for you?
Collision. Because I don't even know the last time I watched Collision. It had to be at least 3 or 4 weeks ago. I just haven't watched Collision.
Well, you were at a Collision 3 weeks ago.
I don't think it was 3 weeks. Was that 4?
Oh, okay, maybe 4.
Yeah, no. So since then, I have not watched Collision.
Okay, so Collision is completely off your radar.
Yep, and that's only because I haven't watched it.
Yeah, I mean, we can revisit this every couple months. Mm-hmm. I just wonder where it was at. And then for you, E, the 5th one would be NXT.
It'd be NXT.
Mm-hmm. Got you. Okay. All right. I'll be interested to see whoever's listening. Let us know. Send us a message on what's your guys' top show. You don't have to do all 5, but I'll be interested to see if anybody does not have. Well, hell, we all had something different. Mm-hmm. That's cool. That's cool.
But you know what though? But we have so much. It's a great problem to have, right? Because we have so much great wrestling to watch.
Yep.
That is really just hard to watch all of it. Because I believe that, because, back in the day, Rhodesia, I mentioned I used to try to get Matt to watch TNA, and I could never get him to watch it. He would never watch it, right? So I don't have time to watch the show, right? I don't have time, right? But now he's watching 30 hours of wrestling.
Hours.
Now he's watching 30 hours of wrestling, right?
I was running the streets back then, though. I'm a homebody now.
but that's the problem, is that there's so much wrestling. Like, I think that probably, Rhodesia, you will watch Collision more if you didn't have so many other shows that good wrestling shows that you like to watch, right?
Yeah, Collision would be my number 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same thing with me at NXT. I mean, there's so much good wrestling to watch that, as to your point, Matt, you said that you kind of fast forward. Because you know what? Because at the same time, you've seen so much wrestling. Like, hey, let me just get to the stuff I know I like. Like, right? Some of the other things you probably skip, if you didn't have so much else to watch, you probably would give it more of a chance. You might even learn to love those wrestlers in those segments. Like, but right now, you're like, hey, let me get the hot segments so I can keep it going.
100%. 100%. Pop quiz for y'all. 24 years ago this week, WWF Unforgiven. Stone Cold Steve Austin was a special guest referee in the main event.
Undertaker.
There was a 6-pack challenge match.
Oh.
Who do you guys think won the vacant WWF title? The people in the match were Big Show, The Rock, Triple H, Mankind, Kane, and the British Bulldog. Who won that match?
It was called a 6-pack challenge?
Yeah.
And it was for like a 6-pack of beer?
No, it was because there's 6 wrestlers, so you can't call it a fatal 4-way. Can't call it a fatal 5-way, and there was no such thing as a fatal 6-way, so it's called a
Can you-
6-pack challenge.
Can you tell I've been missing some beer here? I'm like, okay, Bud Light. They get a
Is
six
that
pack
Bud
of Bud
Light?
Light. Yeah.
No, answer the question.
I was trying to find an answer. I was like, okay.
You probably was, damn bootlegger.
No, I can't. My brain wouldn't work that easy right now. Sheesh.
Big
Let's
Show,
go.
The Rock, Triple H, Mankind, Kane, and British Bulldog.
Let's go with the first iteration of Kane.
Okay. Who would you say? E?
Is this Blue Jeans, Davey Boy Smith?
Has to be, right? Because he doesn't even belong in this match. If you look at it on
Right.
paper.
It's like you lying on that one.
So,
You lying on British Bulldog.
Davey Boy Smith. I'm sure it's probably like Blue Jeans, Davey Boy Smith.
Cause you know what? So for a moment when he had those blue jeans on, oh, this guy, he's legit, right? I'm like this, like it's something different about him now.
Yeah.
He came
that
back
was
in good shape. He had the haircut.
But that was after Owen died too. So that was kind
Aw.
of like the make good push for him to stay. So let's just do the math real quick. 2023 minus, it was 24 years ago. 99. Yeah, damn, actually, because Owen died in 97. So, yep, it was 2 years after that.
It's crazy. You think about the star power in that match.
Yeah.
Like there's not a match in WWE right now that would have that amount of star power. And that's because back then it was so many guys that were over to the moon. Like, right? It's like there's
Yeah,
I think the
Rock,
closest
Mankind, Kane,
Triple
Oh, wait,
H.
this was for the
H.
heavyweight championship?
vacant WWE title. And Austin was a special guest referee.
And I bet you the undercard still
it
has some
wasn't
good matches
Kane.
in it.
It wasn't Kane. It wasn't Kane.
I'm gonna go Triple H.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
Good job, sir. Triple H defeated all those other jokers for the vacant WWE title.
Why was it vacant? Do we know? Pop quiz for you.
I can't remember. 99, maybe like Austin got hurt again or something.
Okay.
So, E, you said there is not a match that WWE could put on right now that could be close to this. Tell me if you think this is close.
To the six-man? The six-pack?
Yep. Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, Brock Lesnar, Gunther, Jey Uso.
Oh, absolutely. That would be their entire upper card.
Minus
LA Knight.
With Drew McIntyre as special guest ref.
LA Knight. Did you mention is LA Knight?
Oh, I ain't even mentioned LA Knight. No, make him the special guest ref.
Yeah. LA Knight is a special guest.
Hey, and I think we about to get this Drew McIntyre heel turn.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely getting it.
He was looking real heelish on Monday Night Raw. I'm here for it.
Yeah,
I like
because you know they're gonna fast forward it because you know he originally supposed to turn on your boy Riddle. Well, I bet he's gonna leave that dude lane. What they should have did, what they should have did
him one
was
more
they shoulda
episode.
just brought him in for it.
Exactly, brought him in for that one last ass whooping.
That's what they would have did back in the day.
And then they give like whoop his ass real good ass whooping, right? And then later on that night, you know, we wish Matt Riddle his future endeavors or whatever it is.
Yep.
Immediately after that segment's over, you see it on
Like,
social
yep.
media. That's
Right
crazy.
afterwards.
So seeing that we record on Sundays, WrestleDream is Sunday night. So let's just go over on this show just the matches we're most excited for or what we want to see because we do it on Sunday. Of course, the show is that night. I'm going to assume they're sticking with the main event of Bryan Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr. Just excitement level from 1 to 10, and who you think's winning?
I hate Zack Sabre Jr.
Oh. What did he do to you?
What don't he do?
Oh.
Do some moves. This is all day. Give me that. Give me that. Give me that. Trying to break people's fingers. This is a wrestling match. My cup of tea of wrestling is a Young Buck style match. You give Zack Sabre Jr. You sitting up here on the mat in these headlocks. You about to pass out from pain. No, give me some. Was it flips and something flips and flips or whatever you call it? Don't give me just locks and about to break people's fingers apart.
But you like when Shayna does it. You like her joint manipulation.
But she, okay, there we go, joint manipulation. But Shayna also still stands up with you and strikes.
That's true too. No, I mean he has a style about himself.
Yes,
If you don't like the submission style, You're not going to
Hate
be a
it.
big Zach. So I'm
You
guessing
got
you're
some,
going
you
zero.
got some shin kicks. You got some
He
shin
does.
kicks.
I like
Yeah.
Brian. I like Brian, so I'm gonna give it a 3. And now it's all from Brian.
But you giving it E?
I'm giving it 7.5.
Okay. You got Brian winning, of course, maybe, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
what's his
but
name?
Zach don't win
He's
this.
not even on the roster.
I'm at like a 6.5. Like, I know the match is gonna be great. When I first saw it, I was like, "Oh, this is cool." But then like Hangman and Swerve happened, and I was like, "Well, that's kind of like my main event." I think
Mm-hmm.
I'm like at a 9 for this, if not 9.5 for
Yeah,
Hangman and Swerve.
9.75.
And I don't know who wins because I think both of them need to win. But man, I would love for Swerve to win. I would love so give me Swerve. Who y'all got?
We talking about the Hangman and Swerve?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm at a 10, man. I'm at a 10 because like this is you talk about leveling up because we talked about Jay couldn't reach her potential. I don't think Swerve could have reached his potential in WWE.
And that's a good call. Thank you for saying that because it may sound like we were biased earlier. You are absolutely correct because he didn't. So if you didn't, that means you couldn't. The things that he's doing outside of wrestling to bring that hip hop audience, here the things that he's doing in AEW right now, absolutely. You are 100% correct on that.
Because he's one of the wrestlers that takes full advantage of the creative freedom in AEW.
Mm-hmm.
Like, right, he's unrestricted as far as his creativity. So now you're seeing, because I believe this version of Swerve is totally him. It's probably maybe in collaboration with some others. But I believe that probably the idea of this character and where it's going is definitely 100% him. And I see him leveling up every time he's on my television screen. And I think that's great for a Hangman because I think in a lot of ways, I think that the Hangman character, not the man, but I think the character has been kind of complacent. Like, right. And I think that we're going to see another level from him. We seen Hangman really get very violent in the match, right? He had those, 1,000 stages of blood matches with Moxley, right? Yep. So he can go there, but I think Swerve is going to continue to bring that out of him. Going to continue to bring great showings on the microphone and the overall story. So I'm like at a 10 for this one.
Okay.
Who you think is winning though? You said.
I'm gonna go. I would love for Swerve to win. Because that would make the most sense. Because if you think about it from a storyline perspective, it will make sense for him to win, right? And then for them to continue to feud, right? Because he unlocked something about Hangman, and Hangman comes back for more. It will kind of make sense.
I'm
gonna go there.
Like a one and done. Well, I mean, we got the contract signing tonight on Dynamite. But then the other part too, Rhodesia, and this may just completely tell you who's going to win. I forgot. Maybe y'all don't even know. The Bucks and Hangman won. They won the ROH Trios titles on Rampage this past weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So he definitely doesn't need to win.
What happened? So Bucks and who? Oh,
Hangman. They won the ROH Trios titles.
So yeah, you answered my question for me. So 9.75 excitement for match. I was going to say because Hangman almost saved my life one time that I wanted him to win, but now that you said that he is now a trios champ, I guess then let's go with Swerve.
Do y'all care about FTR versus Aussie Open?
No. So I actually like Aussie Open. I like him a lot, actually. I like him a lot, but I think we might have saw this match before.
I think so. Right?
Yeah, I think we've seen that match before.
Yeah, to me, this is one of those that like is going to be a great match. We know the match is going to be great. I just don't need it. I don't need it. Rhodesia, do you feel any different?
No, and is it for the titles or is it just a match?
Yep, no, it's for the AEW.
Nah, it's FTR a win still. It said so 7 for excitement level.
For that, actually, I'm more excited for that match than I am Daniel Bryan and Zack Sabre.
The FTR match?
I'm probably at like a 7.5. Because I know the match is gonna be great. That's why. What about Adam Cole and MJF versus the Righteous? Now, allegedly, Tony Khan said on his media call this week that we'll find out more on Dynamite about Adam Cole's status, that he tweaked something, but the match is still on. We've seen him do this before where they wait to TV and then they'll write it off and they'll change it or something like that. But as of right now, it's Adam Cole and MJF versus the Righteous.
Yeah, because I know that I follow a couple of video game gamers. There's a guy named Chris Danger. I think he used to do YouTube wrestling game stuff. His debut wrestling match
is against Cole.
He's living a dream. Is against Cole.
Dude, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
shout out to him. Shout out to him.
Yeah, I saw that. Awesome. I'm like, okay, I'm like, well, that's cool for him, right? But also, I was like, oh, I guess Cole is good enough to wrestle.
But when's that match?
Not sure. Not sure. So but I assumed it was like in the near future.
Okay.
But hey, real quick before you go on, so we're getting a lot of ROH championship matches on AEW TV. Y'all hated that back in the day. How you feel about it now?
I still hate it, and I'm wondering if we get some type of announcement about ROH. Thank you for saying that. I'm gonna pull it up real quick. Y'all talk about that wrestling match where we can go Christian Cage, Darby Allin, 2 out of 3 falls for the TNT championship match.
So for Adam Cole, MJF, and the Righteous, I probably have that at a 5 excitement level.
Okay,
and I don't really care. I don't really care who wins.
To me, that's just the story of Cole and MJF. Like, what's the next part?
I'm at a 4. The Righteous are, I don't want to say they're jobbers, but they haven't been built as a credible threat on AEW television right now. So why would you think that they're in MJF and Adam Cole are any jeopardy to lose against these guys?
But you can't have them lose. But I think the Righteous do have something.
I do too.
I do. Yep. I think they have something. So here you go. Eddie Kingston is an ROH champion. Adam Cole and MJF's
6-man.
A champ. Samoa Joe is a champ. Young Bucks and Hangman's a champ. That's a lot of your top AEW talent. I think something's got to be coming down the pipeline with ROH. I don't know what. Maybe that's something with this big announcement.
Maybe put it on Max. Put it on Max.
Christian and Darby, I'm at 8 on this. I think it's going to be a great match. And do we see Wardlow come back here? Because Christian just won the title just last week. He beat Luchasaurus for it. So do you have him lose it that quick? I mean,
wait, what had time out? Pump the brakes. Burp, burp. They had a match?
Yeah, so it was a handicap match. It was 2-on-1.
Well, no, it wasn't a handicap match, though, right? It was a triple threat match.
Did Lucha just lay down?
No, he actually didn't. Darby hit him with the coffin drop. So it was a regular match. But they never touched. They never fought each other during the match.
Oh,
okay. Hit a Lucha with a coffin drop, and then Christian threw Darby out the ring, and then he pinned Luchasaurus. Then of course the crowd is like clamoring for Luchasaurus to turn on Christian. He doesn't turn on him. He puts him on his shoulders. And I just knew like, oh, here comes Luchasaurus. He's gonna hit him with like the backdrop.
And
then they walked out.
But
like
you can tell that's the story, right? Because Lucha seemed very, very upset. His head was down. He was kind of dragging. Yeah,
he looked.
You see that.
I do think that Luchasaurus, and I'm sure they've told him this, show has told him, or Mark Henry, but like just go back and watch some of old Kane's work. Mannerisms of a heel with a mask on. I think that do him some good. Granted, I think they're about to turn on face. So that could be all for now. But when I watch him, like, it's like, man, just go back and watch Kane's work with head movement, when to do it, all that kind of stuff. But who y'all got winning that one?
And what's the match again?
2 out of 3 falls. Christian Cage versus Darby Allin for the AEW TNT title.
Ooh. Well, first off, my excitement for that, because it's 2 out of 3 falls, you just said, that's really high for me. So I'm gonna say 8.5. Wow. I think Darby put in a lot of work this year. I mean, I just hate the dropping of the titles, but I can see Darby being rewarded getting the TNT title back. Unless you bring a Wardlow back and interfere and then Christian retains. But if you're not bringing Wardlow back.
Somebody brought up, they asked him, like, where the hell is Wardlow? Matt from the TFW podcast asks every single week. His response was he's still under contract and he'll be brought to TV. What did he say? He'll be brought back to TV when he's needed or when it's time? I think he said when it's time.
Okay. If we don't see him as an instigator there in that match, then I would want Darby to be new TNT as a reward for all his hard work this year.
So I'm gonna hope that I'm with Rhodesia, and I think we're all on the same page with this. I don't like that the flip flopping on the title. They did that with Wardlow and Hobbs. It was really strange. I don't think it helps the title or anybody when they keep flipping it like that. So I will hope that Christian retains. But I've also seen Darby and Christian and Luchasaurus multiple times. Like, this is almost like a WWE feud where they keep wrestling each other over and over again.
It's been all summer.
Like,
it's been all summer.
And I think that Darby has been on the losing end of all of them. So it will make sense that this will be the time he kind of comes up. But as we just said, Christian just won the championship officially. Like, right? So I'm going to hope that Christian retains. I'm a huge fan of Christian. I think he's the, best heel in AEW, maybe second best in wrestling right now. Next to a Roman Reigns, just because that's who his slot is. But I'm probably at about a 6 on this match just because I've seen it so many times.
You've seen it so many times?
Yep, I've seen it so many times, and I'm hoping that a Christian wins because I think that makes more sense for that character.
Go out of your way. I know you haven't watched the main event of Raw yet. Go out of your way to watch that match. I've been very loud and boisterous about I never want to see KO and Sammy against any type of iteration of the Judgment Day ever again. I still feel that way. They smoked the main event on Raw. It was fantastic, and the crowd was there for it. It was a really, 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 really good match. So
wait, the last match they had together was a good match.
Yeah.
When Judgment Day won. I mean, I know you don't want to see it, but like they put on some bangers together. Those are some great wrestlers, man.
They are. It's just that you see them every single week. It's like, damn, another iteration. All right, singles. It's a lot, but that match was fantastic. Chris Statlander versus Julia Hart for the AEW TBS title. Now, this is where I geek out. This is where I really get in my nerd wrestling bag. I'm at a 10 for this match because Julia's never had like a main match. I would love to see how she looks on the main stage.
Has she ever had any pay-per-view match?
Not that I remember.
So, no.
I think this is it. I think this is it. And I think she's undefeated this year, like 26-0 or something like that. But yeah, so of course, give me Statlander to win.
Whoa,
she's at a 10 for this.
Julia has that many wins?
I think so. I think that they made sure that she worked like every single Dark and Elevation before they took it away.
Yeah, and she was on Dark a lot. I mean, she won every time. So
okay, Chris keeping the belt, but I'm interested to see how Julia work rate is. Give me a 7.
Okay.
Huge fan of Julia. I think she's just a cutie pie.
She's so cute.
Mm-hmm. I like her little Taker gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I like her theme too. Her theme is
her theme is a banger, man.
Yeah.
Like her it's perfect for her in that gimmick, right? And she has I like she comes down singing it, and I love the whole presentation that she has going on. I just can't say I've been a fan of that many of her matches. I mean, they're not stinkers. I don't know if it's pay-per-view ready. I think Julia Hart is a gal that I would love for her to go down to the PC.
She's another one that, I mean, anybody that's new though. I mean, look at Anna Jay. Just think about how far along she would be.
Yeah.
In ring wise,
Anna Jay.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, she's got everything else. She's damn sure got the look. Like, she looks like $1 million. You need the reps. You have to have the reps to get good.
Anna Jay especially. Yeah, you're right. Her especially. If they went down, if they have more reps, as you said. Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm gonna say this match is probably at a 5.
Yeah, which it would be like that. Just for me, because I'm geeking out. It's like I want to see her on the big stage. Now, these next 2 matches, which is the last 2 matches, is on here. Who knows if they announce anything else on Dynamite or Collision? I'm at a 10 for excitement level. Chris Jericho and the Golden Lovers, Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi versus Takeshita, Sammy Guevara, and Will Ospreay. I'm at a 10, and let's keep it going and have the Don Callis family win again.
Ditto.
Yeah, I would go with that. I thought about something. I would love to see a Don Callis include. Is his name Ryan? Is his real name Ryan Nemeth? No, that's the brother.
Right,
Ryan
Nick,
no.
Nick and Ryan. No, Nick.
Yeah,
So
Yeah,
Nick.
Dolph
Nick.
is Nick.
Okay,
Mhm.
Nick. I will see Nick Nemeth debut as a member of the family. I think
Mm.
that'd be great.
That would be cool. You think he has
Mhm.
the heel persona to fit
Dolph?
into like the dastardly,
Oh yeah.
dastardly heel, the nasty heel?
Remember, like his ascension to the Hearts of Many was as a heel.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Because who was he with? That was AJ. Was it AJ? Wasn't he with another female valet at one point?
I don't remember that.
Was he was he a Vicky plaything?
Yes, Vicky. Remember? They were like, they were like a romantic couple.
Yeah, because it was
Might have been when I
her and
stopped watching.
Edge,
And
and then she got and then she got with he got with Vicky. He dumped Vicky for AJ.
Okay.
Smart man.
Yeah, of course.
Smart man. What's your excitement level for that one, E?
7.
Oh.
Okay. And then this one, just because this match is gonna be off the charts crazy. Young Bucks versus the Guns versus the Lucha Brothers versus Orange Cassidy and Hook in a match for a future AEW World Title opportunity at any time. A 10. And who's the FTR's tag champs now?
Mm-hmm.
FTR versus we're not getting Bucks again.
Mm-mm.
And they're their ROH Trios champions, so you can throw them out. The Guns, maybe? The Guns, maybe?
My
Unless
real
they got some
tag
plans
team
for Orange
champion
Cassidy and
there.
Hook. But Hook is the FTW champ. Give me Guns, because I think that would be fantastic for them to win this and then give Jay White a singles opportunity at the next pay-per-view. So give me the Guns.
Guns, and I say like a 9.5.
So break down the teams real quick.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go Bucks because it's a future shot at some point. Ain't gotta be on the next pay-per-view or the next show. It's at some point, right? Because they gotta run it back, right? I don't think that's a series match. I think they can be tied together for a long time, just having banger matches together, right? Hook. We talked about getting people over and kind of Hook was super hot, right? When he first, debuted as a singles wrestler. Now they keep putting him in these makeshift tag teams, Hookhausen. Now it's Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy should have been, of course, I guess you can't have him go against MJF because he's going to lose, right? Because it's MJF's time with that title right now. It just seems like this is something that a holdover for him, right? And the Guns, I like the Guns. I think they're standing. I just feel I just feel like I don't know. And the Lucha Brothers are Lucha Brothers. Lucha Brothers. But I'm going to go with the Bucks.
Okay. I like that breakdown, though. And it's like the Lucha Brothers are so great, but you just kind of know, they're kind of in that spot now. You just put them in the match to have an awesome car crash. We'll talk about it, but they don't need the belts. Kind of a thing. So,
and I feel that's how Vikingo is right now too. I said it.
Well, we need to get him off of Rampage. Can we please use him?
Let's do that.
A little bit better than.
Wait,
than
he's the 5th best wrestler in the world according to PWI. So they definitely got to get him off Rampage.
Yep.
He was so pissed off.
Get him on SmackDown.
For sure. Oh my
Get
God.
Vikingo on SmackDown.
But hey, I know you guys. Let's go ahead and we're going to wrap this up in a couple minutes here. But I know that we're going to say, for me, overall, I don't think this is a pay-per-view $50 caliber show. I think Grand Slam was a better and bigger show than this. We just I know we mentioned Eddie and Shibata.
Right.
But I don't feel like.
Well, I kind of skipped past this one because I think we all know Eddie's going to win it. And
exactly. So I just don't think this is a $50 pay-per-view quality show. But I know that they're gonna have the match, they're gonna have the show, and then here he is on the next episode. You guys are going to tell the whole world this is the best pay-per-view of the year, as Tony knows. So
well, you watched All Out,
see.
didn't you, or did you not? No, that's right.
I see the last 2 matches.
Fans. Yeah, that's right. Well, I mean, anybody who watched All Out would say that it was a fantastic show. So I still put it down. That was one of their best shows they've ever put on. pay-per-view wise.
We're getting another one. We're getting another one.
Now, I wouldn't have been paying $50 for it regardless, but if it was my $50 to spend, I probably wouldn't buy this pay-per-view.
And that was something else Tony said too. He said they asked him about monthly pay-per-views. His response was, "I never said monthly pay-per-views. I just said there'll be more pay-per-views." And then in Tony Khan fashion, he went on to promote the pay-per-view.
Stop.
So I guess that means he's skipping. See, but like, no, we are getting monthly pay-per-views right now because we had one in August.
Yeah.
We had one in September.
Yeah, two of them.
We had two of them in August.
We had two in August.
This is technically October, and then we already know Full Gear is in November in LA. So maybe it just means we're not getting one in December.
That's exactly what that means.
And on the last pod, man, I said to you, you asked me a question about the end of an era, sort of whatever garbage he said. Sorry, Tony, it's not garbage. It's a statement. And then someone asked him about it, and he said, "What did he say? What was his follow up answer?"
I think he said you just got to watch the show, right, or something like that. You just got to watch the show.
He said something about he said something like, "Oh, I'm promoting the show." That's what he's just promoting the show. He's a great promoter right now. He just promotes.
He's a corporate guy.
Promotes.
Corporate guy.
I'm excited for this show. Is it worth $50 off of hype and promotion? No, it's not. But man, it's not many pay-per-views nowadays that's worth $50. Like, I mean, think about how great. What was the last pay-per-view we had from WWE? Where Cena was the special host. That damn sure wasn't worth if it was you're talking $50, but the show was great. Like but we know the Max deal is coming, and I think they're talking about it could be coming as early as like December or January for the pay-per-views to be on Max.
That's not early.
So if you're talking now, we just got to pay $10 or $50 a month.
That's 50 times how much?
No, that needs to be this Sunday.
Right.
That's what that needs to be.
$50 times 4. That's $200.
They ain't gonna have it.
Shit, I need to be this Sunday.
I actually don't have any quick hits today. Y'all, either one of y'all got quick hits for today before we wrap up?
Just because this is episode 69. First off, I gotta put this NC-17 rating alert. So if you're listening, you're under the age of 17, stop listening.
Oh my God.
All right. So in the honor of episode 69, I wanted to ask a sexy question to the two of y'all. We know kind of what the 6 and the 9 represents, and I wanted to try to keep it still wrestling related. So in real life,
who would I want to 69 first?
No.
Oh.
No.
Damn.
So I guess you could.
A wrestler before?
No.
Okay.
Mm-mm. So in the ring, it could be past wrestler or a present wrestler. Who would you want, or who would you love to have apply the tombstone to you? And I'm not supposed to call out the Easter eggs, but I got 2 tombstoners back here behind me.
It would have to be China because she's probably the only one I would trust that can lift me.
Wait, China. So, give me the rundown again.
So we're doing 69 because it's episode 69. So to keep it wrestling related, I'm going to make it as a move of a tombstone. So who would you want to apply the tombstone on you?
Past or present?
Past or present?
Anna J.
That's a good one, but she's going to drop you in your neck. It may be worth it.
But look, for those few seconds, though, he's going to be in heaven, right?
Now, if I wasn't worried about, them, no, all right, I'll just leave it at China. Because I'll be talking for another 15 minutes.
So what's your backup besides China?
It would probably be, Ann Jay's up there for me. Yeah, she's like top 3. But I just know she's going to drop me.
She's gonna drop you. She's gonna drop us both. Yeah, we
going. She's dropping you.
We gonna have like a 5 seconds of pleasure and a lifetime of hurt.
You know what? Give me and she probably could do it. Give me Naomi. Give me Trinity.
Ah.
Yep, and then
she probably could.
Leg drop. Yep, she made that leg drop, and then I'll be good to go. Literally.
I was infatuated with Naomi for years. Matt, no, I was infatuated with her.
Man, her body is A1.
And then I got mad at her when she got married to Jimmy. Like, I stopped being a fan of hers. Like, I felt like she betrayed me.
Wow.
Yeah, I did. Like, legit. But then I think I actually met the Usos, and I saw how cool these guys were. I'm like, oh, I get it. Like I get it.
Mhm.
But
I got a real.
but
Sorry.
now I feel like Naomi's like a cousin now. I don't know what it is. Like I guess
family.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
she
feel
is
like, you know.
family. Yeah.
She's family. I got a quick Uzo story. We can get out of here. So it was 1 year Mania. We met him, and it was the year that Jay messed up his shoulder. So they were working. This was like the first year they ever had a pre-show match on Mania. This is back when they weren't even on the main card. This is their first pre-show match. So I'm talking to him, and I'm like, "How you doing?" He's like, "I'm good." And this time we didn't notice, like, the shoulder wasn't even out there yet. And if you guys remember that particular WrestleMania, he never got into the ring. They did a spot outside the ring where he was hurt and he was actually out for like months. And I looked at him, I was like, no, like, how are you? And he was like, yeah, I'm gonna be out 6 to 9 months. And I was like, damn. And I just remember, like, he just gave me like the regular, oh, I'm good answer.
Yeah.
And then when I said it again, like,
No,
okay,
no, brother.
he must know. Yeah. And it just sucked because, like, to see them come out there still, this is when they were wearing face paint, and then him not to even get to work the match. It's like, damn.
They were cool.
That was actually the time where Jimmy had his quick solo run. Actually, it wasn't quick, but that's when he had his solo run.
Well, for me, in my 69, this was a hard one. So I had 3. Of course, I wanted to be Taker originally, but I'm like, if this is like a sexy question, I'm like, I can't imagine that. Then I was thinking about Billy Goat with his gray sweatpants on. And I'm like, that's probably a really good one right there. But I landed on Kenny Omega and more like a sit-down tombstone because he will blow me all the way up. Like, this is how intense that actual move on me would be. And they were like, whoa! Just like he had that match with that little girl. Like, it's like, was so clever.
The 8-year-old little girl?
Yeah. So for me, I'm going to land on Kenny Omega.
So we got Kenny, we got Anna Jay, and we got China. One of those ain't supposed to be in there. That's awesome. All right, well,
Thank you, guys.
Wrapping this. We out. We done. So we back on Sunday, and we know we got a lot to talk about. Hopefully they announce on SmackDown who Cena's partner is. I'm guessing not, because they already announced it as a handicap match. So they're probably just waiting to see if LA Knight can get over COVID by the time the pay-per-view hits and announce it. But I saw some people online thinking it's Randy Orton. I don't think that's the case. I think it's be LA Knight still. And then it was something else that they announced that I was really excited for. And I can't remember what it is. I guess I wasn't that excited for it. Oh, well.
Nope.
Yep. All right. Well, we back, y'all. The 3 of us are back in here.
Hold on, Matt. And next time,
Yes.
if I'm on my sabbatical, before talking to my agent, don't just say that I'm going to be on the next show until you get it cleared with my agent first. Okay? You can't give me crickets and still say, uh-huh.
Oh, my bad. I'm going to just end the show like that. Talk to y'all Sunday.